Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to episode number 14 of the Ball Talk Boyos podcast. I'm not even going to try and hold it up anymore. 14, Quinn. That was a 3.
No, I put up 3 because it's my third.
Oh, it's your third. Your third. It's a monumental day for the Boyos podcast.
Yeah.
This is the first ever 4-way, some would say.
It's big.
Big. I'm joined as usual, by my dear friend, Joey Bereski. Joey, how are you doing today?
Doing fantastic, Topher. Ready to talk some ball with another Boyo than we usually have. So 3 Boyos to talk some
Extra
ball with tonight.
Boyo. Extra Boyo. I feel like it's going to be a lot of non-ball talk today, too. I don't know why. You have a story to tell. I have a story to tell. We'll get into that in a little bit. But multiple-time guests, Quinn, Kelly, Connor Wood, welcome back once again. How are you guys doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Quinn, are you going to answer?
Well, I wasn't sure how I was gonna go. Yes, I'm good. Great to be back is all I gotta say.
Who do you think thinks about you more, me or Joey? Because that was the debate last podcast, right? Connor, you could answer this too. Who do you think thinks about you more, Joey or I?
Well, I think right now it's skewed because I see Topher every day and not Joey.
It's fair.
I was thinking the same thing, but I don't know what, like, Joey down there, like, since he doesn't see me as much, maybe it's like he's going to bed like, I miss Quinn. Whereas, like, you, if you're gone, it's like you'll just see me tomorrow. Like,
I'll just see you tomorrow. That's fair.
I mean, obviously, like, we interact more and things like that, but maybe when he's pondering Joey, I don't know.
Joey is unemployed and practically homeless, so it would make sense if he did think about you guys a lot. Yes, Joey?
I have a job still for a few more weeks.
Supposedly.
Even once I lose that job, I might pull a Kingsbury. We never know.
Just run off to Bangkok or wherever?
No, just fail upwards.
Fail upwards? He did not fail upwards.
He got fired from Texas Tech and then landed the Arizona.
Oh, okay. I thought we were talking about, like, getting fired from Arizona and now being the offensive coordinator for your Washington football team.
No, if you were a ball knower, you would understand the Texas Tech.
I understood the rest of it. I just wasn't thinking back that far.
I'm just playing.
All right, tell us your stupid story.
My stupid story? Okay. Well, since I'm not unemployed and currently have a job, correct? My job requires me to travel all over the great state of Indiana.
God bless.
And sell stuff, right? Not going to get into what I sell, but I sell stuff. And so today I went to Richmond, Indiana. If anyone knows where Richmond, Indiana is, it's middle of nowhere, like dead central Indiana, but on the border with Ohio. So just nothing's there, right? And the highway that you used to get there, that I typically used to go from where I live to Richmond, Indiana, there's construction going on. So I take a different way to get to Richmond. But on the way back, there's even more traffic on that alternate route. So I have to take like the third route, right? And I'm driving, right? Middle of nowhere. It's like single lane country roads, beat up. I'm looking at houses as I get like into the deep country, right? And there's a bunch of like clotheslines with like just clothes hanging out there. I'm like, why do these people have clotheslines? And I keep driving, and then it hits me. I see a sign for a school zone, but I'm like, where's the school? It's an Amish schoolhouse.
Oh.
And I see Amish kids playing baseball outside of said schoolhouse. I have never seen real Amish people in the wild before.
Really?
I've seen like Amish people like just more in like the environment, like they go to the doctor's office. So I see like Amish people at like the doctor's office sometimes when I'm at hospitals downtown, right?
Amish people notoriously have to go to the doctor.
But I don't go into Amish country. I've never been to Amish country. And I'm just sitting there, just like driving through, and I'm in Amish country. And then I just keep driving, and I see like a man getting like hand plowing a field, like riding, like he has like a machine he has like connected to 2 cows, and they're pulling him along, cows. And
Wow.
it's like plowing the field, and I was just so amazed, and it was just crazy. I just wanted to share with people that I saw Amish people in the wild for the first time in their environment, and it was a life-changing experience for me, honestly. And if this video gets 10,000 likes, I will be Amish for a week.
In what sense will you be Amish for a week?
No electricity.
Okay, let's
Living in
look
Amish
up
country.
Let's look up rules for being Amish. Let's do this to start off the podcast. This was in the rundown, right, guys?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Rules, and we'll decide if Joey can do it or not.
For a second, when Joey paused there, I thought he was gonna say if this video gets like into the Amish community, and I was gonna be like, quick time out. That's not how it works, but that makes much more sense.
I think
Quinn, I've been in the Amish country before. I know what I'm talking about. Okay.
Okay. No, I know.
I'm just playing.
Also,
Okay, ready?
oh, go ahead.
We've got some Amish dress. Amish people wear simple, practical, and modest clothing made at home. Men wear beards and Amish-style hats and vests. So no more grass shorts for a week.
But that's one with nature.
Technology. Amish people avoid modern technology and conveniences like electricity, television, computers, and cars. They may use 12-volt electricity from batteries, and some communities use solar power. Amish people use horses and buggies for local transportation. Some communities allow. Do you have your horse on hand, ready to go?
Yeah.
Yeah. What are some other? Oh. Amish people end formal education at 8th grade.
Wow.
I went to Carthage. It's pretty much the same thing.
Bedroom rituals. Amish people sleep on opposite sides of the bed with a board between them. They can talk. They can talk to each other, but are not allowed to touch. How would your dear girlfriend feel about this?
I mean, she works night shift at the hospital sometimes, so if she's working night shift, I got the bed to myself anyways.
You don't have any tattoos or piercings.
Bodies temple.
You are not a woman. That's about it. You could do this. You could pull it off.
I mean, what do I need technology for? My job? I'm not gonna have that in a couple weeks. Like, I'd be fine. Anyways, 10,000 likes, run it up. I'll be Amish for a week.
Quinn, it does say you are required to have some form of gluten with every meal in order to be Amish. So
I could agree with that.
gonna be tough for you to pull off, but
Yeah.
that'll be all right.
I'll find a different religion to do then for a week.
The Boyos do religion.
My only real I've seen them on the side of the road, but my only real exposure to Amish people is I don't even know which one anymore, but there's a Weird Al parody to some song, and it's where he's talking just about Amish culture. It's really interesting.
Connor, when we first had you on, way back when, during episode number 2, we walked through the Bears' schedule and we went through wins and losses. Between the three of us, you are the only one to have correctly predicted their record of 3-2 now through 3 games. You did have the Rams as a loss and the Colts as a win, so those 2 parts were wrong. But through 5 games, what have you seen from the Bears that has been better than expected and worse than expected?
I think, honestly, I don't think anywhere has been better than expected, because I expected their defense to be really good, which has been the point of the team that's looked really good. I expected our offense to look better, but as of the last couple of games, they've slowly started clicking it together a little bit. Caleb's looked better each and every week, so.
Quinn, same question for you. What's looked better or worse than expected for you so far?
I would say the run defense particularly has looked a little worse than expected. I didn't think it was going to be great. The D-line looked shaky, but a lot of those second level runs, they're giving up a lot, and that's kind of annoying. And then Caleb, I think, I would say worse. He's been giving up, or he hasn't hit the deep balls, which is fine, but I think that's something that we kind of expected coming out of college. But then something better, he's been processing pretty well, getting the ball out quick. That's gotten even better, I would say, since the loss to the Colts in these 2 games that they've won. I think he's been just putting together better games. Yeah, they were against the Rams and Panthers, but He still just looked better, and for a rookie, that's all you can ask is to get better every week.
Oh, big. I'm ahead of you guys. I won't say anything. But oh my gosh,
Clase is also in.
is he in the?
Yeah.
Is it bottom of the ninth, or did he come out in the eighth?
It's the 8th. They have second and third and 2 outs. Sweeney's up. It's 0-2 though.
It's second and third with 2 outs.
Yes.
Oh geez, you'll have to let us know if something happens. Joey, I'm sure you're quivering in your boots over your Guardian score currently. But what have you seen from the Chicago Bears that has been better or worse than you expected?
I mean, I think just in general, something that was super hyped up coming into the year was that offense and all the additions they made. But obviously, because of the play of the offensive line and Caleb Williams to some degree, it has been probably worse than I expected it to be. But I do gotta say, like based on what Quinn was saying, his processing and getting the ball out quick has improved and has been better than you can expect for a quarterback as young as he is, being a rookie. So I think that there's still some positives and some like bright spots to take away, but I do think in general just the overall offensive performance hasn't been the level I expected it to be.
Oh my gosh, turn off. Michael Barber, our dear friend, is currently claiming that the football game is scripted. In other news, Connor, Quinn, and I think Joey, and I think I may have even, did we all think the Bears were a playoff team coming into this season? Yeah.
I did in my predictions, but I thought they were right there. I think it was kind of a coin flip. I figured that's what it was going to put them in, so I kept them out. But.
Okay, through 5 weeks, and now seeing the rest of the NFC North, who appears to potentially be the best division in football, with the Vikings being legit at 5-0. I think the Lions are 3-1, and I think the Packers are 3-2. Yeah, so same record as the Bears. Do you guys still feel like they are playoff potential, or have that like ceiling, I guess?
I think they still have play potential because again our defense is great. They're fourth in turnover differential, and it helps out the offense a ton if you can take the ball over, get the ball in like short fields. Just helps the offense, and then Caleb's like looked better every week. His pass rating has been every single week besides from week 1 to week 2, and it was pretty similar, has improved. If you take away his first game, he'd be on pace for over 4,000 passing yards, which no Bears quarterback has ever done that before. But I just think if the offense is just average, then we'll make the playoffs.
Connor, on a scale from 1 to 10, how much of a nerd do you consider yourself? This was how I was going to open the show, but I was thinking about this.
Yeah, I like looking at analytics, and I take analytics way more seriously than I feel like than other people.
Quinn, what about you?
Pretty high, but not necessarily in that sense. I just like scour. I love looking at like career paths, things like that. So just more like knowing about the players than like the actual game. But I would say I'm up there 7 or 8, maybe even 8 or 9.
Joey, I feel like you're on the lower end of things. I would also consider myself on the higher end of nerd things.
I consider myself very far.
Would you?
To be honest, I mean, just an example. I used to know every single Division I college basketball head coach. I mean, I think my bag with stupid facts is specific, but it's deeper than people might realize with some stuff.
How does it feel for the lot of us to know that Jason Kelsey does not like us because we are nerds and nerds are stupid? Joey, did you see this quote?
I did not.
Let me pull it up because we talked about it for those of you who haven't figured out yet, things that we talk about on the podcast largely come from things that Quinn, Connor, and I talk about on our daily just interactions. Here it is. Ready? Found it. Stats are numbers. Numbers are nerds. Nerds are losers.
Yeah, Jason Kelsey really showed us. Manly. He's just so much cooler than the rest of us, man, because he didn't pay attention in school. He almost flunked out in Cincinnati. Yeah, man.
He's got a podcast, though.
Yeah, he has a cool podcast, though, unlike us dweebs.
He has a cereal. Do you have a cereal?
Someday.
Depends what you.
That would be
define
cool.
as a cereal.
What would be in the Ball Talk Boyos cereal? Not Cheerios. I can guarantee that. Not Cheerios.
No. No.
Jobo, do not do Cheerios.
No. Apple
Maybe
Jacks.
like someone, like not even like a one that's already made.
Quinn, what do you think the Ball Talk Boyo cereal would taste like?
I mean, glutinous.
It has to have gluten. Extra gluten, potentially. So you will never get to taste it.
Right, I know. I mean, probably some Cinnamon Toast Crunch, like something like that. I don't know. I can't speak to your guys' taste specifically, but something like that with a different flavor to make it pop. I don't know.
I feel like it needs to be something Coke flavored.
Oh, that's a good point.
Speaking of cereal, have you seen that cereal that goes with orange juice?
No?
There's like a cereal that's like made so you do with orange instead of milk. So if you want to make one, you can make it go with like Diet Coke or something instead of milk.
I'm looking into this. We need to drop everything.
No, there is a cereal that goes with orange juice. I've never had it before.
Tropicana Crunch.
It's a thing.
The first ever breakfast cereal created to pair with Tropicana Pure Premium. So you can sip your sunshine and eat it too. Can I still buy some of this? Wait, this is a big deal.
I don't even like orange juice, but I feel like I just have to try it and see if it goes together.
I don't think you can buy it anywhere. Oh my gosh. You can buy it for $110
Oh, so
See?
it's a market now.
on eBay.
Is this
I'm
like
hoping
the
that's
one
what
that-
happens with my LeBron James Wheaties box that's been sitting in my closet at my parents' house for years. Joey, you get on this.
What am I getting on?
Buying us some Tropicana Crunch. Quinn, what's happening in the baseball game?
So Class A struck out, what's his name, Sweeney to end the 8th. Is the top of the 9th. The guards at the top of the order, 1 out and a runner at first.
Oh, I thought it was the bottom of the 9th, and
No, it's the 8th.
it was 2nd and 3rd. Okay.
Yeah, so Quan is up with a guy in first. Jackson Job is pitching.
Job's pitching? All right. Quinn,
So
do you feel... Oh, go ahead.
Well, I would assume Class A is coming back out.
Yeah.
They have whoever's 9 and then the top of the order, the Tigers do in the 9th, so that'll be interesting.
Do you feel like the Chicago Bears, if they hit their ceiling, are still a playoff team in the NFC this year?
I do. I have this pulled up right here. Our next 5 weeks are the Jaguars are by the Commanders, which should be a very good game, the Cardinals and the Patriots. I mean, I think 4-0 is possible in there. I don't know about likely. I think 3-0 is pretty likely, or 3-1, sorry. So I think they need to do well in that stretch, and then it just gets to the divisional games. Like 6 of our last 8 are against our division, so that's going to be really where we have to make our money. But I think if they play well this next month or so, then we'll see like if they really have a chance or not.
I mean, if you go 3-1 in that stretch of games, you're 7 and
6 and 3.
6 and 3. My bad, can't do math. Accounting major for nothing. You're 6 and 3 with the division games left. If you go 3 and 3 over that stretch, you put yourself in a pretty good spot to give yourself a shot to be playing football late in January. Joey, do you still feel like the Chicago Bears are a playoff team?
I think the ceiling is definitely a playoff team. I'm not as high on them being a playoff team, though, as like we were talking about. 6 of their last 8 games are against divisional teams, and the division is probably the best division in football at this point. And on top of that, they play the Commanders, who I'm actually pretty high on at this point. And the Jaguars are good now all of a sudden, according to 1 week of football, so you never know there. But
That's your Indiana bias coming out to haunt.
What Indiana bias?
I don't know. You probably listen to Sports Talk Radio, and they're like, "Season's over. Jaguars are great." Is Indiana Sports Talk Radio like Chicago Sports Talk Radio? You don't listen to the radio.
I haven't listened to it. I just listen to Ball Talk Boyos podcast out on Spotify and YouTube on my phone every time I drive.
Narcissist. That doesn't even make any sense.
What?
I don't know. I think the Bears are still definitely a playoff contender, and I think the only reason is because Caleb Williams has struggled, and I expect him to continue to get better. And I feel like that if he only continues to get better, that's only reason to expect the offense to play better. The defense is great. I think the secondary is legit. I think they just need to. I don't know what Connor, Quinn, you guys might have a better understanding, but how's the defensive line been so far in terms of like getting after the quarterback and stuff?
It's actually been solid. Gervon Dexter, our second round pick from 2 years ago, so it's his second year, has had, I think, 3, maybe 4 sacks. So he's really turned it on. He's taken a big step. Sweat's still there. He hasn't done a ton, but they're able to get there. And it helps that the secondary makes the quarterback hold the ball and then they get him in 3rd and long, and they can really get after him, pin their ears back. But it's been solid against the pass for sure.
Yeah, I thought it looked a lot better because going into the season, I thought our holes were guard and just O-line in general, and then I thought the other one was a second edge rusher opposite of Sweat. But as a whole, they have been getting more pressure than I thought they would have to start the season.
Joey, you had your jaw drop.
Yeah, Deebo Samuel has 17.7 fantasy points all this, so he's got a long touchdown catch.
Oh yeah, we probably should have clarified that. Yeah, I saw that happen. I just didn't want to say anything. I didn't want to ruin for you two as it was coming.
I'm happy about that.
I checked fantasy. I'm not watching any game. I'm locked into the podcast and the podcast only, unlike you casuals. But
I'm in a spaceship right now. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
I got my screen. It's God Bless America on this beautiful Thursday night in Kenosha, Wisconsin. Let me tell you. Yeah, Joey?
no, I was just agreeing with you.
Oh, okay. Because coming into this year for the Bears, the big concern for me was looking out for like last year's defense. The passing defense wasn't very good, and the red zone defense was also not very good. But I think we've talked about the secondary's been what seems like really good. I'm not sure about the red zone numbers, and I'm not sure it really matters now. 5 weeks into the year. Any other thoughts on the Bears? 5 weeks in.
I saw somewhere that the Bears have the hardest remaining schedule. Probably because we play 6, like all of our division games.
Yeah.
But I think that's probably the best case scenario for the Bears is playing our division later in the season, so then like Caleb can actually get a feel for the NFL before playing against like the tougher teams. But
Sure.
Obviously you don't like hearing that they're playing against the toughest schedule the rest of the year.
But it largely does just have to do with what you're saying, where it is they do play 6 games in division. The Vikings are currently 5-0, which I don't think anyone would have expected coming into the year. So I think that's the only reason they're that high. And you still have to play the Commanders, who are 4-1 and also outperforming expectations to date. So getting into some other any other Bears thoughts before we get into some other NFL Week 5?
I have one. Well, first off, Guardians just scored, so it's 5-3. And then Jose Ramirez hit a foul home run. It was an absolute rock. It was foul. And then the one thing I gotta yell about something: penalties. This has been our thing with Eberflus. It's year 3. We're tied for second in false starts behind the Texans. We have Laramie Tunsil, which doesn't even count. So that's just something that has to clean up. That's like reflective of the coaching. Eberflus has been great with the defense, but there's some like things like that where like we're blowing leads and not disciplined. That just can't happen, especially as we go on. So hopefully it's like an early season thing. They'll figure it out, but it's frustrating for sure.
How high are... Go ahead, Connor.
It's hard to win games when you're always constantly behind the sticks. I know, like, pretty sure the Texans game, we had a lot of penalties pre-snap, and that's what killed also the getting pressure every play killed the offensive momentum.
How high are the Chiefs on that list, Quinn? Do you know?
I don't. I can pull it back up really quickly.
You don't have to, because we'll get into a little Chiefs talk. My dad, this past last Monday, it might have been. Yeah, last Monday it was. Texted us about Juwan Taylor. Texted me and my older brother. Shout out to my dad, by the way. He listens to every episode. He enjoys. I don't know if he listens or if he watches, but he does. He does listen to all of them, and we appreciate that, like always. But he texted me. He says 74 is too far back on every snap. I don't understand what the refs are looking at, which has to do with Juwan Taylor being the worst ever. And if they're going to call all these illegal formations and not call them on the person that they're actually should be calling them on, might as well not call them. But Patrick Mahomes, through 5 games, has put up a very lackluster stat line in, I think, all of our opinions. But I bet if we looked at most sports books or predictions or just like lists that people have put out, they view Patrick Mahomes as the MVP frontrunner through 5 weeks. Joey, do you feel like Patrick, whatever his middle name, Patrick LeVon Mahomes II, should be NFL MVP through 5 weeks?
No, not at all. He has 6 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. His QBR hasn't been very good. He should not be anywhere close to the MVP conversation because he has not played anywhere close to the best quarterback in the NFL. He hasn't even played like a top 10 quarterback in the NFL through the first 5 games. He's getting outplayed by Justin Fields right now. And I don't hear Justin Fields getting anywhere near MVP talk. And granted the Chiefs are better than the Steelers, obviously, but like, if you're getting outplayed, or even if it's a conversation that you're getting outplayed by Justin Fields, I don't think you should be anywhere near the MVP talk. I'm sorry. And I think that there's so many better candidates than him, such as like I don't know who such as would be a better candidate, but like, there's better candidates out there than Mahomes.
Dude, he's at a career high in completion percentage for 5 weeks. And don't you know, quarterback wins are the only stat that matters. Quinn, if the season ended today, would Patrick Mahomes be your MVP?
Not at all. I want to say Josh Allen, but after the 2 losses, I don't know if I can say it's him. I genuinely, off of what we've seen, it might be Sam Darnold. He's just playing really good ball, and they're 5-0. I don't know what else to say there, but definitely not Mahomes. Nobody else.
Sorry, I didn't.
My ACL.
I know. I said, is that Jordan Mason that's down?
Yeah.
I didn't see what happened. I just saw you went down.
Rib.
He's grabbing his rib?
Or that area, yeah.
Okay. Connor, who we've already established that Patrick Mahomes is most likely not the MVP in our cases. Who do you think is the MVP front runner through 5 weeks currently?
I don't really have a specific one because it's still so early on, but I think my top 3 right now would be, not in order, but Josh Allen, Lamar, and Burrow. And then I think a 4th behind them, but still can do it, is Sam Darnold.
That's fair. We can get into a little Burrow talk because, I mean, he's been the best quarterback in the NFL probably through 5 weeks. It's just unfortunate his defense stinks. But I kind of had a take that we talked about during practice today a little bit. If this is what Patrick Mahomes is now, if the last 2 years, which last year also was not great. I mean, it was solid, it was fine, but it wasn't great. If he wants to be considered the GOAT, what he does in the regular season has to matter at a point. Like, you can turn it on in the end and win the Super Bowl or make a deep run and it be just fine. But, like, if you want to be considered the greatest of all time, your accumulation of stats has to matter at a point. And if his touchdown to interception ratio is going to be, last year it was like 2-1. This year it's 1-1 so far. But, like, if that's what it's going to be, it's got to matter at a point. The fact that he's getting carried by a very good defense and some questionable whistle is unfortunate. So, did any of us pick the Chiefs to make the Super Bowl? I didn't. I know that. Joey, did you?
I did.
No.
I did not.
I had them making and winning the Super Bowl.
Do you still feel confident about that through 5 weeks?
Mahomes is just so interesting because, like, I don't know what happened the past 2 years and why he's not playing as well as he normally does. Because, like, in the playoffs last year, he played amazing. It's just that, like, the regular season, he has not been as good as he should be playing. But also, it's like, he's not playing like a top 10 quarterback in the league right now, but he's still the best quarterback in the league. It's just such, like, a weird, like, thing. Because you can't say he's not the best quarterback after winning 2 straight Super Bowls, being undefeated. Like, it's just such an interesting phenomenon.
Yeah, no, for sure. Joey, what % chance do you put on the he's walking off under his own power, so it might be ribs. What percentage chance do you give the Kansas City Chiefs of three-peating?
I mean, at this point, it seems somewhere in the 10 to 25% range. I'd say like 25% doesn't sound too off right now. I mean, they're playing like one of the best teams in the league, and if the whistle stays on their side, and if Patrick Mahomes starts playing even closer to the player that we all know he is, then it should be the Chiefs taking it easier. I mean, I think it could be even higher than 25, to be honest, just because of the fact that they've been this good even with Mahomes playing this average or bad, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. I would tend to agree on all those things. I think they're probably still. Quinn, do you still feel like they're still the favorites and should be?
I think so. I mean, I think the AFC is definitely stronger, so I think whoever gets out of there will prevail. But I mean, he's got Mahomes. He's got Allen's number. He beat Lamar last year. I just don't think anyone's proven that they can do it so far. So we'll see.
I think as long as they're healthy enough in there, they do it.
Yeah, and especially with, like we've said, the way the defense is playing. I know they lost Snead, but they're still good. So
yeah. Now, go ahead. Sorry.
The Tigers scored, so it's 5-4. There's now 2 outs, nobody on. So
was it a sack fly or did someone go yard?
It was whoever was the nine, I think Malloy doubled and then like ground out and then like another ground out. Basically, got him in.
Oh, so he scored on a fielder's choice.
Yeah, the fielder's choice to first. Classe ran over to cover and like snow coned it, almost dropped it in, and then so the run scored, but there's 2 outs. It's now 0-2 on Beerling.
That's all right. He's going yard right here. Yeah, now without Rashee Rice, it'll be really interesting to see how they mix in. Can't believe I lost due to a Xavier Worthy read option.
That's
like
karma if I've ever heard.
I lied. When I said I tweeted, and maybe I'll insert the tweet. No, I probably won't. But I tweeted saying I wasn't upset that I lost. Just upset that it took that long. I'm now upset that I lost because I lost on a freaking read option between Travis Kelce and Xavier Worthy. What in the 1920s is that, Andy Reid? I still think he retires at the end of this year, too. And I think Spagnuolo takes over as head coach. But I'll clip this off for later, and we'll save that. Somebody who you might say retired, you might say was forced to leave the building by security is Robert Saleh. Joey, do you feel like this is him being scapegoated, or is Robert Saleh a bad NFL head coach?
I don't think Robert Saleh is a great NFL coach by any means, but he was not the problem in New York whatsoever. I think that there's so many other people you can point to and so many other issues with this team that have nothing to do with Robert Saleh that are more of a problem. Nathaniel Hackett, the offensive line, whoever their offensive play caller is now, because they took it away from Hackett. Like, there's so many people you can point to, mostly on the offensive end, that are the issue. Heck, you can point to Aaron Rodgers being the issue. And it just feels like this is kind of a scapegoat situation or a situation, because, I mean, I don't know if y'all saw the stat, but he was the first NFL head coach who was escorted out of the building in over 2 decades. So it feels like there's someone who's kind of an issue there, or someone calling the shots behind the scenes that wanted him gone, because firing him at this point in the season when he doesn't seem to be the issue makes no sense.
I also think I saw it's the first head coach that owner has fired mid-season. Quinn, Connor, either one of you who wants to take this. I know Connor and I had a very passionate conversation about this on Tuesday, but do you feel like it is much more scapegoating, or do you feel like he's just a bad, NFL head coach?
I think it was both. I think Rodgers wanted him gone. They didn't agree. But it's also like he did nothing to prove that he should belong there. Because I found since he joined the Jets, I saw a tweet about this, they're being outscored by 267 points, which is the league worst since he joined the Jets. And also they had 60 more penalties than their opponents, which is also league leading. And you can't really win football games when every single game your opponent is constantly having less penalties than you, and you're losing so many yards due to penalties, and you can't get anything going on offense because of that. But also, it's I don't think Hackett's been a good job calling plays. Rodgers has not looked good at all. I feel like they just have a lot of issues. But Saleh, I feel like was an issue. So, but he also, I don't think he should have been fired, but it's not like he was a good coach by any means.
Quinn, your thoughts?
Coordinator, sorry. Good defensive coordinator, not a good head coach.
I just don't think it makes sense in week 5 when the team is 2-3. I think disrupting that continuity, it just seems weird to me. It might mess things up. I think you can attribute a lot of the success of that defense, which has been like their saving grace for the past few years, to him. Right now they're 3rd in yards and 7th in points. And to me, it just seems like they're pandering to a 40-year-old Aaron Rodgers who we've known as like a diva and attention sucker, and he's not playing that well this year. So I think like for next year, you might want to have Saleh to keep the defense around if you can find a different quarterback, and it's less likely that you're going to have Rodgers. I think he's going to be gone within the next year or two no matter what. So I just don't get why you're so focused on keeping him and keeping him happy when I don't think he's going to... I mean, maybe they'll turn it around this year and he'll play really well, but I don't think he's going to contribute to that much success. Or I think Saleh could because the defense has been so good, but I don't know.
Do any of you guys feel like Rodgers was involved in the decision-making process of this?
I think for sure he was. Rodgers was involved.
Yeah. Joey? Yeah. Quinn? At least to like some extent, feel like Rodgers has to have been.
Probably, yeah. Or, I mean, I suppose, like, Woody Johnson, the owner, it could be a not power trip for him, but just he thinks he knows what he sees and is so set on, like, it's Saleh's fault, I need to make a change, like, it needs to be better, and he's not going to make the change by getting rid of Rodgers because he did so much to get him, and it was such a big media charade, so I can see that.
Yeah,
I think
go ahead, sorry.
I think it's Rodgers more so.
I also think
go ahead.
that part of the reason why they fired Saleh to make Rodgers happy, because if the Jets weren't making the playoffs this year, and they don't, they're cleaning house. Saleh would have been gone, like everyone would be gone, Rodgers would be gone, so it's like, might as well try to keep Rodgers happy because he's our only hope of making the playoffs is him being good, and if he's not good, then we're cleaning house anyway, getting rid of Rodgers, firing everybody, just start fresh. So.
Sure, that's, yeah, I guess that's all reasonable. I tend to fall that he is, Kyle Juszczyk, give him the ball in a better spot. But I do feel like it has to be a combination of both. On Tuesday when it first came out, I was very much, it's all Rodgers, like, he shouldn't have been fired. I still think it was too early to make the decision. I feel like there has to be something more to the story, and I'll be very interested to see if anything else comes out down the line. Joey, I think you might have even picked the Jets to make the Super Bowl.
I did.
Do you still feel good about that prediction?
Absolutely not, no. I had a lot of faith in Aaron Rodgers and Breece Hall in this offense. I mean, in my 2 main fantasy leagues, one of them, my first-round pick was Garrett Wilson. The other, my first-round pick was Breece Hall. My Coach of the Year pick was Robert Saleh, if people remember that.
Is it actually?
Yeah, I will say that was a bad pick by me. I'll admit when I'm wrong. I was wrong with this, clearly.
Definitely a bad pick. He's not an NFL coach, and we're not even halfway through the year.
Yeah, my pick's gone after 5 games. Like, it's literally impossible for him to be a head coach unless he gets hired somewhere else magically, but it's not happening. I mean,
Masterclass of a 5 weeks, so you never know.
Yeah, the Jets, I'm not nearly as high on. I still think they make the playoffs. I think there's enough talent there and enough good with that team for them to be a playoff team. I just have trouble finding where they're going to make a run with all the holes they have on that team.
Sure. Quinn/Connor, do you guys feel like there is still the possibility for the New York Jets? Or what percentage chance do you put on the New York Jets making the playoffs?
I think they will make the playoffs. I don't know, maybe like 60%, I don't know. But I will say, if, like, you mentioned the O-line, I saw that, like, when they were pass blocking wise, they've been like one of the best units in the league, pass blocking, but then one of the worst units run blocking, which is, I just think is weird how like they'd be so good at pass blocking but so bad at run blocking. But
Quinn?
I don't think it's I don't think they're more than likely to make the playoffs. I still definitely give them a chance just because I don't think there's that many great teams in the AFC. Like, I think right now it probably looks like Ravens, Bills, Chiefs, and Texans are Super Bowl champs, and then or division champs. And then like there's not a whole lot after that. Probably the Bengals, but I think the Jets will be able to get it just based off of that. I don't know what their schedule looks like, but I don't know. I still think they'll have a chance, but they do have to start playing better. And like based on what we've seen, they don't look like a playoff team. So something does have to change. I think this week will be a big indicator, a litmus test to see like if changing head coaches and offensive play caller does anything.
Who do they play this week?
The Bills. So if they like beat the Bills, then that would be like, whoa.
You feel good about it?
You're definitely not expected to win this game. So if they lose, it's not like, oh, their season's over, they lost to the Bills. But if they beat the Bills, it's like, maybe like getting a new chain of scenery was like the right move and new play calling. Because Hackett was obviously very bad. Only
Not
the job Rodgers. But,
yeah. Connor, you brought up a very interesting thing, and this has nothing, and I'm just spitballing, but I'd be interested to see what causes there to be a difference between a really good pass blocking team and a really bad run blocking team.
Is that homework, or are you guys
No
going
podcast.
Want to say hi to the podcast?
Oh, Benjamin!
Hey, what's good?
Hi, Ben. How are you doing?
Oh, so good.
How do you feel about your Chicago Bears through 5 weeks?
Now, they're not as well as I would hope they would be doing. I can't say I'm disappointed in the progress I've seen in Caleb Williams. It looks like he's coming along together as like a quarterback that's learning.
Yeah. And any other takes you want to get off here?
I love DK Metcalf. I mean,
Yeah?
I love watching him straight arm dudes into the ground. Love him taking tackles head on. CTE he's caused.
This
One
seems
crack.
to be-
Your prediction for the guy?
For what?
Dice is neat.
Oh, I believe second round he's gonna get a flag for unnecessary roughness on an interception that's thrown.
Second round?
Or second quarter. He's getting a flag.
You think it's going to happen? There's 2 minutes left in the second quarter.
It's gonna happen. I can feel it.
All right, we will keep an eye out for that. This is the first official Ball Talk Boyos 5-way now.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's getting crazy.
We had somebody jump in for a minute, so
It was the first 4-way, too.
Yeah. Although technically didn't.
yeah, but it was very short, planned.
This is the first full 4-way for sure.
Yeah, it planned.
Right.
Yeah, you always want to finish a 4-way.
Exactly.
I already have to label this. I'm not going to talk about it any further. Let me go back to my sheet. Do we feel like we covered Jets thoroughly enough?
I think so.
Yeah.
Okay. I put down to talk about the Nico Collins injury, but I added other injuries that have happened recently. Is there any injuries that you feel like it's either riddling your fantasy teams or you don't feel great about that team now because of said injury?
Nico Collins had him in 2 leagues.
Yeah,
That blows.
I had him in 4. So.
Yeah, I lost 2 leagues last week by like less than 5 points. I had 8 chan on both of them. So if we didn't get hurt in the first quarter, like I think I would have won both those matchups. But
Probably would have won. Yeah. Joey, what do you think about the outlook for the Texans now that they are without Nico Collins for at least 4 weeks?
I think the Texans are talented enough at the wide receiver position where it won't necessarily be like the end of the world for them. I think they'll still be just fine. I think they're missing that elite receiver now. But I mean, Stephon Diggs has been an elite receiver within the past few years. He's still really talented. Tank Dell's a good receiver. Xavier Hutchinson looks pretty solid too. So I think that there's
All right, flag on the play. Unnecessary bias. Joey Boreski just added him to his Dynasty Fantasy Football team. Automatic 15-second suspension. Go in the box. That has to have been incredibly biased, right? He just adds him to his fantasy football team and starts talking about Xavier Hutchinson.
even the third string receiver.
I don't even know. They still have the Alabama kid,
Yeah,
Mechie.
Yeah,
All right. Do you think I can let him out of the box?
go for it.
He's earned
All
it.
right. Joey, your turn. Say whatever you have to say.
First of all, Xavier Hutchinson's the one that kind of filled in Nico Collins' role post-injury last week. during the game, so he did get some of that work. He got extra work. John Michie has not done anything in the NFL, and I as much as I thought he was going to be good coming in, he's not their third best receiver. He's barely a guy who's getting activated for games, so I don't think that there's anything there. And I was going to say, on top of those three receivers, Dalton Schultz has been playing like a solid tight end, and I think he's a really good tight end. Cade Stover is a good tight end as well. I mean, they have a lot of great weapons there. That's not even getting into the running back position.
Flag on the play. Unnecessary bias.
Oh,
Joey Boreski, calling Cade Stover a solid tight end just because, once again, ladies and gentlemen, if we scroll a little bit down on his fantasy football team, I do believe I will find one Cade Stover. Go back in the box, kid. This is ridiculous. Quinn, I saw you run off for something.
Oh,
Put your hand down.
I threw a flag. It didn't. There it is. It didn't.
Oh, there we go. Yeah. This is ridiculous. 2 instances of unnecessary bias in a matter of 2 minutes, and he's an Ohio State guy.
Right.
Just a gosh darn disgrace. My father is listening to this, and you're spewing this much bias. Your father is listening to this. Connor's mother is potentially listening to this. And you're talking. Joey, what do you have to say for yourself? You gosh darn. Oh, Jackson Smith and Jigma wide open. I don't know. I'm just so fired up.
Okay, you're getting fired up for no
Next, we're
reason.
going to be like, guys, you want to know who I got my eyes on? Joe Milton. Woo-wee.
He can throw it 100 yards.
Throwing orange 100 yards. Next thing you know, want to know who we're going to be hearing about? Joey's got a tip that the New York Jets, under their new
Jeremy
play
Rucker.
caller,
Jeremy
is going to
Rucker.
start using Xavier Gibson more.
Wow.
Just what I'm hearing, spitballing here.
Okay.
Joey, what do you have to say for yourself?
This biased narrative is crazy.
What
considering-
bias? You just brought up 2 guys that no one in their right mind would have brought up if they did not have a rooting interest in those specific players.
I'm not saying that those 2 players are going to fill the role Nico Collins is going to fill. I'm saying they're good players. I don't care. I'll say Joe Mixon and Cam Akers have played like good running backs this year too, and I've never said anything positive about Joe Mixon or Cam Akers. So I don't really see what the issue is here.
Yeah,
I just think that...
Well, you wouldn't say that because they're not on your fantasy teams.
Well, maybe just because my bag's a little bit deeper than the rest of y'all doesn't mean that I can't talk about these. I'm kidding. But the fact that you guys are saying that Cade Stover and Xavier Hutchinson, me saying that they are solid NFL players, is some crazy, out of this world concept is absolutely insane. When those are 2 solid NFL players who I think have talent and I think they could step up.
Quinn,
Topher.
guess the maximum percentage of snaps Cade Stover has played this year.
Maximum, I will say 12.
No, it's higher than that. It's
Okay.
higher than what you're putting up too, Joey. So,
All right.
Connor,
Plus
right
one.
at, like
Yeah, how many routes?
33%.
35 is the highest amount he's played.
That's not bad.
Is that a third of the snaps?
He's like 40.
He's a rookie.
He's 40. He's 24. He's not that old. I don't even know what we're talking about anymore. I'm just too fired up right now.
Yeah, we were talking about Nico Collins.
Oh, Nico Collins, my sweet Pookie Bear. It is okay. You can rest for a little bit now. You did a great job the first 5 weeks. It's okay. You can take a little nap. I think the fact that it went day to day and then week to week and then on IR, I think it's just you're taking the ability to try and rush back out of the athlete's hands and just letting him kind of ease his way back in and like be like, all right, you have 4 weeks to be ready. Don't rush it. There's no rush to get back by next week or even the week after. I saw something that it was like 6 to 8 weeks, which I don't know if that's the case because, I mean, he walked off like under his own power. So unless it got drastically worse or if he was trying to get ready to play again and it got worse. But, yeah.
I will say, I saw
Go ahead,
someone
sorry.
compare that Nico Collins' injury to Justin Jefferson's last year, and I think he missed around 7-8 games. But it could have been, it could be different, but I mean, I hope I'm wrong. I want Nico Collins to play as soon as possible. Obviously,
Would be a big time thumbs down on that. Thankfully, in the 2 fantasy leagues that I have him in that I care about, Joey, I want your support on this, and for the fellow people in our fantasy football league, I want to make a push next year for less teams in the playoffs.
I don't want to do that because I think that the way that the league's set up right now is fantastic, and it's a 10-team league. No, and it's not.
Throw the flag!
Whenever I have an opinion, it's the end of the world when I have an opinion. You're just mad because you lost to me last year as the 1 seed when I was the 8 seed. You're just mad about that. That doesn't fit your narrative.
What would be the hand signal for unnecessary bias?
Can I say something? Can I say one thing to defend my argument?
Yeah, go ahead. Don't you get so fired up?
I think that the 10-team league having for our league, which has a punishment. I don't know what the punishment even is this year. No one ever gave me a definitive answer on what it is. But when you have a 10-team league, I think having 8 teams make the playoffs and 2 teams in the toilet bowl is perfect, and it's the way it should be. I don't want any of this bye week crap that people spew where there's 6 and 4 or something like that. No bye weeks. Get that out of here. It's football, and you should play every single week in fantasy football.
I just feel like we have to incentivize winning.
Yeah, I will say, because if 8 teams make the playoffs, literally the regular season just doesn't matter, because you can have a losing record and then make the playoffs and then be fine. It's just like, and it's like, yeah, give me McCaffrey, give me Nico Collins, give me all these injured guys that'll be good for the playoffs, because it's like, I don't care if I win now, I just gotta win 5 games and make the playoffs. If you can't win 5 games, then you deserve to do a punishment, and you don't deserve to make the playoffs at all.
And it's strategy. Some people like to just hold on to their guys, or some people like to trade for guys who might be. I didn't trade last year. You can't say trading anything.
No. But the first part of it, I'll put her back down. I'll put her back in the pocket. But you're on thin ice.
I'm just saying, someone who got the most points scored against them and was 4th or 5th, I think, in the league in scoring, but finished 8th in the standings because they just got.
Yeah, but don't you think the person that scored the most points in the entire league and went on a 9-game winning streak should probably be rewarded for that, for the moves they made to get themselves in that spot?
No, because they were due to lose. They were due at some point to lose. You don't win 9 straight and then win a 10th. That's just not fantasy football, man.
That's actually true. I was really worried because I did lose. I did win 9 straight. I was like, I'm going to lose very quickly here. We are going to spend an entire segment of one of these episodes walking through the intricacies that went into Joey and I's playoff matchup last year. Because
rent-free.
Heaven and earth was moved to stop me from winning that matchup.
It's 3-0 Yankees. In the last inning, Melendez flew out to the wall, and it was to right, and they said the wind's an 8-foot.
Right? If they were in Yankee Stadium, it probably would have been 3rd deck.
Yeah. We just left the ballpark entirely, but yeah, Stan just shot a grounder through the infield, and then Judge was on 3rd.
This is also not helping my narrative that there's a problem with the MLB playoffs format.
That's true. There is a problem with the MLB playoffs format.
Joey, what do you feel like the problem is with the MLB playoffs format?
I think the problem is the wild card, where you have these teams that go into the playoffs and have time off, which isn't good for baseball. It's baseball a sport where it's good to play every day, and I think that these.
Go continue. Sorry.
And I think that these top teams having more time off and allowing these teams that make the wild card, who might be hot coming in, to continue that momentum, or if you're a team that's been really hot going into the playoffs and gets that bye, and then you lose that momentum, I think that's a huge issue for the MLB, and you're not rewarding the best teams the way that it should. It's not the intended effect, I should say.
So you feel like we should do a better job of making sure that the teams that do better in the regular season are properly rewarded for their efforts?
In baseball.
Is that what I'm hearing?
In baseball.
Answer the question!
In baseball!
Oh, you stepped right in the shit. Oh.
Different sport.
Quinn, do you
Topher.
feel like there's an issue with the MLB playoff format?
I'm not worried yet. I know there's been this thing because this is now year 3 of the new format, and the top seeds they're losing a lot. But I mean, right now it looks like the Yankees are going to advance tonight. We'll see. Don't want to whatever. I mean, it's baseball, so anything can happen. But the Guardians look pretty good. The Dodgers they're going to play Game 5 tomorrow, so they're all still alive. Yes, the Phillies just lost, but I think the Mets seem kind of team of destiny. But I think it's too little data right now to say that, and I have a lot of stats about how random baseball is and how that's just kind of how it goes sometimes. The best teams in the regular season just don't win in the playoffs. So from 1995 to 2012, because this is when it was a Harvard Sports article, so Harvard, they wrote that this simple rating system...
Shout out Ryan Fitzpatrick.
The metric by Sports Reference that determines the strength of teams' regular season based on their strength of schedule and performance. The best team from the regular season has been the champion 3 times out of 18, so that was long before the new format. And then there are just no statistics that say, like, if you hit a lot of homers in the regular season, if you have a high contact rate, you have a really good bullpen. Like, none of those things have shown to really correlate to postseason success. So I think if this happens for, like, 10 years, maybe we should worry, but right now I would say it's just too little data to say that there's this big problem and that things are need to be changed. But I guess we'll see. But my point is just baseball is random, so at least for now I think we should just appreciate that, but we'll see.
Connor, do you feel like there's an issue with the MLB playoff format? I also want a extended answer on this one. So just
I think Quinn summed it pretty perfectly. I'm not a big baseball guy, but based on all of your guys' data and talking about how baseball is random, I feel like it doesn't really matter that much. And yeah, like having a bye might ruin momentum, but it's still nice to know that you're for sure making a certain round of the playoffs and not having to worry about winning. Especially because isn't the wild card best of 3?
Yes.
So
it just got changed to best of 3.
Then it creates even more randomness that a good team or a team that's not as good and just get hot for a game or two and get lucky and then beat the best team.
Well, let me tell you, the wild card used to just be one game.
Yeah.
Real?
It was amazing as a fan of any other team, but when it was your team, it was terrible. And we won the one against the Pirates, but in 2018 it's the Rockies.
And lost one to the Rockies, right?
Yeah, and that was like 12 innings or something.
Didn't they beat the Cardinals in like our freshman year in the World Cup?
No, the last time they played was the division series in like 2015, so that was long before.
I think the Cardinals. That's when I think I watched a baseball game was when the Cardinals were in the playoffs, and that was my freshman year.
That hasn't been that long. They made the playoffs 2 years ago.
They did.
Yeah, so our freshman year of college.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they lost to the Phillies.
Yeah, they lost to the Phillies 2 years ago.
Oh, dang.
It's okay. Everyone loses to Phillies except the New York Metropolitans. So
Yeah, the Grimace Mets.
the Grimace, Hawktua Mets, the Pumpkin Mets, the Gay Mets.
Missing one, but I don't know. I mean, Grimace was the biggest one.
Grimace is an icon.
Yeah, he had such a moment in the summer of 2023 that he's still riding off of it, and so are the Mets.
If the New York Mets win the World Series, should they build a Grimace statue outside of City Park, whatever it is?
I think it's City Field. They should at least hang a banner, or put him on the ring. Like, you know how they
put him on the
have,
ring? That would be really cool.
If they had that somewhere on the ring, that would be cool. Because teams do that all the time with random, like the Cardinals when they won it was it said something about happy flights because they won their last 20 getaway days or something like that.
That would be really cool if they found a way to get Grimace on the ring.
Yeah.
Jeez. All right. College sports corner, Joey. Try not to be too biased.
Well, I have someone to talk about college sports with here. I'm not going to get into Ohio State obliterating Iowa because that would be biased. But Quinn here can talk about can talk about college football as well. He has a deep bag with college football, and I just think that this past weekend was one of the greatest sports weekends I've witnessed in my lifetime, just because of the pure quantity of upsets and the magnitude of some of these upsets. I mean, the Alabama Vanderbilt upset. I mean, that might be the most iconic upset in college football that I can remember in my lifetime. I mean, the only one that in my lifetime I think can compete with that is the Michigan Appalachian State one, but I don't even remember that because obviously it was like 2006.
Yeah.
And go ahead, Quinn.
Well, I was just gonna say, unfortunately, we and Topher could not really watch because we were on a bus for 8 hours or whatever, 7 hours of that day. But yeah, I agree. And just also, maybe you were about to say this, I hate to steal your thunder, but the Vandy kids tearing down the goalpost, walking 3 miles to Broadway and throwing it in the Cumberland River is what college sports are all about. It's so cool.
Oh yeah.
You know they get fined for that, for like rushing the field,
Yeah. Arkansas did too.
which I thought is well. All of the teams that rushed the field, Vanderbilt did A&M,
I don't know.
because A&M just beat whoever, right?
Mizzou, but Mizzou is completely overrated this year.
Hey,
Anyways.
A&M has Connor Wiener as their quarterback though, so
That'd be amazing. I would not want to be a fan of a school that rushes the field against Mizzou, with all due respect.
No. Against Alabama, if you're a Vandy fan, you better be rushing that field.
Right.
And then even Arkansas, I mean, I understand them rushing the field in that situation too.
Who'd they
That
beat?
makes sense.
I can't remember.
Tennessee.
Oh yeah, that's worth it.
Yeah, and I think that those two are solid rush to field worthy upsets. A&M was ranked, and Mizzou was falling down the rankings despite not having lost a game coming into that, just because they were clearly overrated. There's nothing there. But if I'm a college athletic director and of like Vanderbilt and my student section rushes the field, or they want to rush the field, it's gonna beat Alabama, I will happily pay the $100,000. I'll pay the $100,000 from my own pocket if I'm the athletic director. To be honest, like that, just because. Okay, I wouldn't do that, but the salary is somewhere in the $400,000 to a little over $1 million range for athletic directors most places. But yeah, I don't know. The upsets this past weekend were crazy, and we haven't gotten to the Big Ten ones. Although the Big Ten ones, I don't think were necessarily that big of upsets. I mean, Michigan and USC, with all due respect, I'm not super high on. Not because I'm not a Michigan fan, but because Michigan's offense is playing almost worse than Iowa has an offense the past few years.
Worst.
The Michigan's offense is archaic, and USC is not tough enough for the Big Ten. They're too busy out there in LA on the beach, going to parties, and in Hollywood watching movies and stuff to really go into. I mean, they go to Iowa in November. You think USC is going to be tough enough to go into Iowa in November when it's probably snowing? No.
How are they going to catch those punts if their hands hurt?
Their little hands are gonna hurt, and Lincoln Riley's gonna be like, "Ooh, it's too cold for me. I need to. Maybe I should have gone to the USC, or maybe I should have gone to the SEC when I was with Oklahoma. Maybe I should have taken the LSU job. Too cold. Like, come on." Sorry, I just hate USC and I hate Michigan. Go ahead,
Connor.
I don't like this Iowa hate.
I'm not hating on Iowa. I'm saying that Michigan's offense is so bad that it's comparable to one of the worst offenses of the last 50 years.
Hey, at least we're consistently in the top 25.
Yeah, no, I was a solid little team. Y'all are a solid little team.
I didn't know they hung banners for being top 25.
Hey, we almost won the Big Ten championship a couple of times.
Almost, hang it!
Oh, so close.
Hang
Matt
the
Ryan
banner.
almost won a Super Bowl. Matt Ryan almost won a Super Bowl.
Hang the banner. Joey, how many more games does Alabama have to lose to not make the college football playoff?
Well, here's the thing. They're an SEC team, and they're Alabama, and ESPN just slobbers. It's like the Krispy Kreme donut machine, man. They're just pouring that glaze all over Alabama and all over the SEC. They're pouring honey on them like it's Jalen Brunson. Like it's crazy there. I think that if Alabama loses 4 games, they're for sure out of the question.
Yeah.
And then I think the big question for Alabama becomes Kalen DeBoer's job, because the Alabama fans are already calling for his head after the Vanderbilt loss.
Yeah,
But
this kind of thing would never happen under Saban.
it would never happen under Saban. But
Never.
I think Alabama has to lose. If they lose if they lose one more game, I think they're still in the playoffs. 10-2 Alabama, they're not leaving them out of the 12-team playoff.
Who does their
3 games is it's a conversation.
Let's look at their schedule, because we were talking about this at practice, and I feel like a lot of it has to do with. Okay, so this week they have South Carolina, whatever. Next week Tennessee, or in 2 weeks Tennessee. They have Missouri. They have LSU. They have Oklahoma, and they have Auburn. So pretty tough, not horribly difficult schedule. They fell all the way to 7.
They shouldn't have been number 1 in the nation, to be fair. I think that they have their last 3 halves of football have not been very good whatsoever. They had that great start against Georgia, and then they played like garbage after that. And I just think that they got a little overrated, a little too fast there. They still have a lot of glaring issues. Jalen Milroe is very inconsistent, and I just think there's some issues there.
Connor, I got bad news for you.
Huh.
Guess who's out for the kickoff team right now?
Oh god. Who?
Debo Samuel's playing special teams.
It's not a, that doesn't matter. So
No!
I was hoping you said Jordan Mason was playing special teams, and then we got excited that he would have been healthy and playing. But
No, it's just Debo Samuel.
has he been ruled out yet? Probably.
I don't know. My phone's like about to die, and I haven't been checking like Twitter to see if Shefty's tweeted anything about it.
Well,
We just had benches clear in the Royals Yankees.
Oh,
game.
actually?
So the Royals had a runner on first. There was a grounder to first. I'm assuming it was bare teeth. Stepped on first, threw over to second, and so Volpe had to tag, and then he like put the tag on, but also kind of like reached his elbow over, and then like whoever it was for the Royals like slid off the back. He kept tagging it, and then like was like patting on the back as he was walking back, and the Royals guy didn't like it. I think it was Garcia, and then like it seemed like it was all gonna be over, but then like Jazz started walking over from third, and he was giving him something, like he was yelling, and then like so he was like the only one really escalating it, and all the other players are like trying to calm each other down, and then everybody just comes in from the outfield and the benches and the bullpens. And it seemed to de-escalate pretty quickly, but Jazz was upset.
Mason was just in for one play, one thing. And classic Yankee front runner behavior. To act all tough now that they're up. I hate the Yankees. What a shocker.
We're not throwing the bias flag there? We're not throwing the flag for being biased there? No?
He hates them.
Joey, who do you think? Let's get this straight. I'm the Kansas City Chiefs in this situation. I throw the flags. You got anything else you want to say about college sports?
No, college football has been great. College basketball is starting to ramp up. Can't wait to talk some college basketball, which is my true love. And yeah, go
Cooper
ahead.
Flag.
Whatever else.
What was that throw? Cooper Flag, right?
Yeah, Cooper Flag. I mean, you're a Duke fan, which now that I'm thinking about it more, Duke, Red Sox, Lakers, Cowboys. wait a minute. I forgot about the Duke. Duke, Red Sox, Lakers, Cowboys?
This guy out of here.
Can we throw a flag for that, please?
No.
No,
Quinn, put that gosh darn flag down.
no, but you're on thin ice.
I have, to be fair, okay, here's the thing. A lot of it has to do with, like, the players. Like, I'm not a Lakers fan. I'm a LeBron fan. I always have been. Always will be. When he leaves, I won't care about basketball anymore. Like, I already barely care about basketball now, as is. The Red Sox are practically in my blood, so we can't really dispute that one. Cowboys is a new thing, and they haven't been good recently, and it's largely just because of Dak Prescott. Duke, I can't remember why. That one's another one where I just always pick them in my bracket. And I have actually been starting a list of criteria for me to like a player, and like what goes into why I like players and why I do not. Would you like me to read that?
I just want to say one thing before you read that. Michigan football as well. However, you have a good reason for that.
Yeah, we can't just. You really want to dispute the Michigan football one?
No, that's why I said you have a good reason for it.
And I also a lot of these I don't really care about the sport all that much. Like college football, I don't really care about. Basketball, I don't really care about.
I really don't care. I'm just giving you a hard time.
I'm just wondering why you aren't a Michigan for college basketball as well.
Because I don't really, because the Michigan's like a new thing. You guys want to dispute this?
I know.
No, I know
I'm
this.
sorry.
I know the story.
Just out of context, it sounds funny. I'm sorry.
It does. It was before that the events that occurred that caused me to feel more sympathetic.
No, of course.
To the cause. Okay, I have 3 criteria currently for Topher to like a player. Okay, they have to be cool / have aura.
Yeah, that's what I was hoping was one.
Yeah, Joey.
Isn't Dak Prescott your favorite football player?
Yeah, and he's got aura.
You can't even tell.
Yeah, it just looks like
He does the hip thing.
Yeah, you're like belly dancing.
Maybe I was.
I love that.
They have to have been good early in their career, like as like a rookie or early on. And they have to have failed and people doubted if they could ever win.
Well,
Okay,
but I feel like a lot of the times, though, if a player is good as a rookie, they were never doubted because they were good right away.
And they fail, and then they get doubted. Look at the list of people I like. There's a lot of that.
Like LeBron.
Oh,
Like
Aaron
LeBron.
Judge.
Who?
Aaron Judge.
Yeah, but he wears the pinstripes, and he's a little.
You know.
I do not appreciate the Topher bandwagon allegations either. Those don't feel fair. You're just upset. You're just upset because I've got you in such a box.
What box? It's
The one that's around you. You see it right here?
It's a pretty nice box. I kind of like this box, to be honest. It's pretty big and spacious.
Look at that. I got you in a box.
And I got my trophy here too. It's beautiful. I love this box. And muted. Nope. Okay, never mind. Sweet.
Finally some peace.
That's good.
I was looking to see if I could do that. Quinn, you want to talk about Rafa Nadal retiring?
Sure. All right, so just a little tribute to I think probably I would say officially my favorite athlete across any sport ever.
Bandwagon.
I'm
just kidding.
I'm a Purdue football fan. I've been a Bears fan. Okay, anyways. He's just, number one, before we get into anything, so cool. The kid from Mallorca. Humble. He never throws his racket. He never gets upset. He's just such a gracious champion. He respects the game. He's just an absolute legend. The king of clay. He won 2 Australian Opens, 2 Wimbledon titles, 4 U.S. Opens, 14 Roland Garros French Open titles, 14 king of clay. He was the number 1 player during 3 different decades. Youngest man in the Open era to win the career slam and the first to win the surface slam, which is winning on a major on grass, clay, and hard court in a calendar year. We don't need to get into it too much because it's not research, but 24-16 against Roger Federer. He won the Battle of Surfaces in 2007 where they were playing on both. It was like half grass, half clay court. 6-3 in slam finals. I will give Roger that they played more on clay than on grass. Like Roger was 3-1 against him on grass. So he does get that because he only played 4 times there. Like they played way more on other surfaces. He was 29-31 against Novak Djokovic, but a lot of those games I would argue have been like after Rafa's peak, but still in Novak's peak or further from Rafa's, where like Novak's still kind of there, but Rafa was dealing with a lot of injuries late in his career. And also Nadal is still 5-4 against Djokovic in major finals. He's the only player with a double career Golden Slam, if you count his doubles championship at the 2016 Rio Olympics. So he's won every major in the Olympics twice, And then I just want to shout out to 2022. That's like the last time he was really there. He won the first 2 Grand Slams, and then in Wimbledon he was absolutely cruising. He beat Taylor Fritz, and then had to pull out with the Wimbledon injury, and his season was derailed from there. But just a legend, an incredible career, and tribute to him.
I may just be talking completely wrong, but it's nice to have a sport where like the top 3 athletes of all time aren't shrouded in scandal.
Yeah.
Like, we don't have any like PED allegations. Like, they're not, beating up anybody or getting pulled over or anything like that. Like, it's nice. Am I way off base here?
No, that's pretty good.
And like, it's nice that they all played at the same time.
That's true. Yeah. So that's why, like, I would say Djokovic, like, I personally don't love him, and a lot of times he was kind of just like an antagonist, and he would always crowds didn't like him, and he kind of played into that like too much, and so he just like Rafa and Roger were always like the greatest of friends because they were super respectful of each other. Djokovic wasn't always like that, and then now as he's gotten older, he's been like nicer, but like sometimes he like demands the crowd likes him, even though like when he was younger he like fed off them not liking him. But like for that to be the knock, obviously you're right. Like it could be so much worse. So.
Joey and Connor, do you guys have any thoughts on Rafa Nadal's career?
I mean, Nadal, obviously one of the top tennis players of all time. I feel like everyone likes Nadal. I like Federer better just because, like, when I grew up, my mom played tennis in college. Like, I know, like, I think my mom's favorite player was Nadal. My nanny's favorite player was Federer, and I just, like, I've always liked them both growing up. I guess like Federer more, can't tell you why. I think because my first time watching tennis was a Federer match and not a Nadal match. That's probably the reason why I like Federer more, but I like them both. Also don't really like Djokovic that much. Can't tell you why. Probably just because he might be better than Nadal and Federer. I just like the other 2 better, so that's why I just don't like Djokovic, but that's all.
Joey?
Pretty much same stuff as Connor. I mean, I like Federer better than Nadal, but I would like Nadal as well. I was a Federer fan because my first tennis racket back when I used to play tennis came in like a package that had Roger Federer on it, so like from there I was just a Roger Federer fan always. But like great career for Rafa Nadal. I mean, it's been really cool tennis wise where the top 3 are pretty interchangeable for the most part. I mean, it's been cool to follow that.
Laviska Shenault just had a kickoff return back for a touchdown, which is another thing pretty cool to see. Any thoughts on LeBron complaining about having to fly to Milwaukee? Joey, you got thoughts?
Yeah, poor baby's complaining about having to do his job. Wah. You get paid millions of dollars to go play basketball and have millions of people adore you. Wah.
Okay. I see that side of things, but like, why are they being forced to fly to Milwaukee for one preseason game?
Because that's where Milwaukee
that seems a little
plays.
silly.
That's where they play basketball.
Yeah, no, I get that, but like, why is that like the way the scheduling was done?
Aren't like the EuroLeague teams and like the NBL teams coming from other countries to play games against these teams in the preseason?
Yeah, but they probably don't come there and play one game and then leave.
Yeah, but like it's a 4 hour flight to Milwaukee. Like there's no way LeBron's not flying on a Peach. Like, come on, bro. Like,
yeah, I have no doubt.
He gets to hop on a private jet and sit there all comfy for a few hours, and then just goes play
5.5.
Okay, 5.5 hour flight. Goes and plays some basketball, and with his son on the team now, gets paid millions of dollars to go do that. Has people cheer him. People like, LeBron, I love you. Like,
this is just because it's LeBron that said it.
No, if any player said that, I'd probably have worse. Like, LeBron, at least LeBron is good enough where he can earn the right to say something like that to some degree. I'm still gonna hate on it, but like, if you have, who's an example? If you have Malik Beasley out here saying that he doesn't want to fly somewhere for a preseason game, we're probably all going in harder on Malik Beasley for this. Like, come on, like, you can't just defend him because it's only LeBron. Like, you gotta fly places for preseason games. Would it make more sense for them to schedule games against teams in the Western Conference? Sure, but like, come on, it's a game for preseason. Like you travel a little bit there. Like it's not a big deal.
Quinn, Connor, your guys' thoughts on this?
LeBron's kind of my favorite player ever. I love LeBron, but like, I don't see the way complaining. It could be like people like from Milwaukee whose favorite players are LeBron and want to see him play and can't afford regular season games and I can only afford a preseason ticket. It's just like you get first class, like you fly private. You just go. And it's preseason. He's only probably gonna play like not the full game. It's just like nice, chill little. I just don't see the big deal. I'm not complaining about it, but and like LeBron's my favorite player ever, but I think not worth complaining about.
Quinn?
Yeah, I don't really have much more to add. I think that's a good point Connor made about it being like if someone really wants to see him play and can only afford preseason tickets. I think it's cool for that reason, but he wouldn't really play in the preseason anyway. I think it's kind of 50-50. Like, LeBron can kind of suck it up and do it, but also the league should be scheduling so that, like, you don't have to travel super far just to play a preseason game. It doesn't really matter, and it's just to, like, get looks at younger guys and get ready for the actual games that count. So
It's like a 60-year-old man. Why are we making him get on a plane?
yeah, I mean, for all I care, like, he doesn't have to go. Like,
Yeah,
like,
for all, like, intensive, like, he really does, like, I bet if
Yeah.
he was like, I'm not going, like, oh no.
they're gonna fine him, and then he's gonna be like 0.1% less rich. Like, I don't know.
I don't even know if it would do that much.
Yeah, I don't think it would, to be honest.
Boy of the week time?
Sure.
Okay. Do the honors, gentlemen.
Josh McCown.
Joshy 11 team man. Joey, how many of Josh McCown's 11 teams do you think you could guess he played for? Run!
Yeah,
Run! Freak, there's a flag. Go ahead, sorry.
I could probably get a good number of them.
Okay, go ahead.
Bears,
Yep.
Jets,
Yep.
Yeah.
Browns.
Yep.
I feel like for some reason I'm thinking Dolphins. I don't know if Dolphins is correct though. Buccaneers.
Yep.
I feel like he played for the Falcons.
I don't think
Saints.
so.
Saints. That might be. I might be getting him and Luke McCown mixed
That's
up.
what I did.
No Saints.
Chiefs.
No.
Broncos.
You're bad at this
Raiders.
game. Yeah, Raiders, yep.
Oh, really? I didn't even know.
I'll
that.
give you one more missed.
Okay. Let me truly ponder this for a second. I think Bengals. Oh well.
Can you guess where he started his career? I didn't know this.
Wait, no. I remember. Was he in the Cardinals?
That was where ding 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 ding. Quinn. He was taken
Come on.
third overall. He was taken third round, 81st overall in the 2002 NFL draft, the year I was born.
Wow.
When was the 2002 NFL draft?
Oh, that actually might be right there.
I think it was the Vikings lost a playoff game to the Cardinals, and it was like a last second touchdown. I think maybe in overtime, and it might have been to rookie Josh McCown. I could be wrong on that, but it was like the Cardinals guy caught it, and then the Vikings pushed him out, which was illegal at the time. You couldn't push out on a catch. So it was a catch for that reason. And then it ended up being a touchdown, and the Cardinals went on. I could be wrong on that.
Sure. Connor, what's the first thing you think of when you think about Josh McCown? Joshua Treadwell McCown.
Personally,
Sorry.
it's his Bears days because my first season really focused and invested in the Bears season was the year Josh McCown took over for injured Jay Cutler, and so that's why my first memory of Josh McCown was him in his Bears days.
Quinn.
I will. Obviously, that's up there too. I will say, in 2019, the Eagles made the playoffs. This was 2 years after the Super Bowl. Carson Wentz got concussed during the game, and Josh McCown came in as the backup. Put his body on the line for that team. They didn't win, but he gave it everything. There's like a video of him like in the tunnel, like he like limped off and then was like sobbing, like broke down crying, and like told his guys like he let him down, and they're like, no, you didn't. Like you're a warrior.
What were his stats?
That speaks to me because he was like late 30s. His career was basically over, and he came back in that game and just he willed them. They got back in it. I don't remember how it ended, but he gave them a chance for sure. And then so that's what I would say. Also,
God.
I yelped as Connor was saying that. Kyle Isbell for the Royals flew out to the track again, or another fly out to the track. There was a runner on first. It would have tied the game. It was like 2 feet. If there was no wind, it would have been out for sure. So I think that was the 7th. They're going to the 8th now. So that one stung. I wanted that one out.
Dang, he actually kind of balled in that 2019 playoff game. They lost 9-17 against Seattle, but he kind of balled. He got sacked 6 times. He had 5 rushes. He had 2 fumbles.
Okay.
But 2 fumble recoveries.
Oh, there you go.
Joey, what uniform do you remember Josh McCown in the most?
It's either the Bears or the Jets. I mean, obviously, I had been into sports for a year or two, like really hardcore by the time he started starting for the Bears, and obviously, growing up in Chicago suburbs, despite not being a Bears fan, you're going to see a bunch of stuff about Josh McCown. You're going to hear about Josh McCown, kids at school talking about Josh McCown. I mean, his Bears days, I generally remember that, and I remember thinking at times this guy's better than Jay Cutler. I don't know if that's just thought that a stupid kid had at the time, but like that's the thought that I had. Is like this guy is better than Jay Cutler, and I didn't like Jay Cutler then. I love Jay Cutler now, but I rooted for him to start over Jay Cutler and get that job. And then the Jets, I remember him playing a little bit there because he played some meaningful time with the New York Jets. So those are the 2 teams that really stick out in my mind.
You guys, when you did say Josh McCown earlier today, did mention how you felt like he was better than Jay Cutler. I think Connor especially mentioned how you felt like he was better than Jay Cutler that year. But, yeah, my biggest memory of Josh McCown is the same one Quinn had with the Eagles playoff game. So, yeah. Any other thoughts on Josh? Go ahead.
1 year, I can't remember when, it was a few years ago, after he had retired, he had like, there must have been like a school spirit day for his kids. He was like, wear a jersey. It's like this one kid and all his friends, they wore like all of his jerseys to school. Group, and that was awesome. You love to see that.
Joey, when the podcast blows up, what should we push to have named after us at Carthage College?
I think there's 2 things we push for.
Okay.
The track.
The
track. I mean, the track has no name right now. I think we push for something. I mean, it has to be Ball Talk Boyos, like the Ball Talk Boyos track at Art Keller Field, or something like that. That'd go hard. And I think we push for one of the benches randomly around campus to be named the Victims of Peyton Heiser Memorial Bench.
They don't even get these jokes.
I don't.
It's not meant for them. It's just an idea I've had for a very long time because back when Pokemon Go was all the craze with our team, and I was really big into making Pokestops on that game around campus, which is still one of my proudest achievements and how many I made. But I tried to name one of the benches Victims of Peyton Heiser Memorial Bench, and it didn't get accepted because it wasn't real. But come on.
Supposedly.
It'll be real someday, and we'll make sure it happens.
Quinn, Connor, do you guys have any final thoughts for us on your guys' return to the Ball Talk Boyos podcast?
I'm just happy to be here. It's always a good night being an honorary Boyle for the week.
Yeah, it was incredible. I will say, since I didn't get to get it in during the college sports talk, I'm not going to get to watch Tyler Kolek this year. I just want to throw that out there. Maybe for the Knicks, but it hasn't really hit me yet. Okay, it's been a staple of my life for these last 3 years. With those left-handed layups, his amazing passes, and there will be a little void in my heart, but that'll be okay.
Maybe you'll have to look to see if you can stream the G League games.
Maybe, yeah.
Not even to be a diss on Tyler Kolek. That wasn't even meant to be like a dig at him.
Yeah.
It's just like...
Yeah, no, we'll see.
Are you a Knicks fan now? Whoa! As soon as they trade for Karl Anthony Towns, comes a Knicks fan.
No, because, well, I'm out on the Bulls right now. I mean, Josh Giddey, you know,
Hey,
and
he was cleared.
I guess. But either way, he's just kind of has a bad vibe. And then they signed Josh Primo the other day and cut him like 2 days later.
Like the next day. Yeah, I thought that was funny. Not funny.
I don't know. Oh wow, big catch Lockett. I don't know what that is, but I don't need to watch the Bulls right now. I think they're a long way away. I'm sick of it. Like even if you take even from the basketball standpoint, I don't think Josh Giddey's very good. I think they're going to extend him because he only has 1 year left, so it's like we're locked up into that. It's just
But Zoe's back.
Allegedly, he's going to play like 12 games and then he's going to get hurt again.
When does basketball season start?
Late October. Like,
are we actually that far away? Because I feel like it's next week, kind of.
It might be a week or two from now.
Yeah, hockey started on Tuesday, so I know they're like similar time frame. And then college is like later; it's in November. But
I have no clue. A lot of allegations have been thrown around today, and I would like to address them from the bottom of me hot. I'm not a bandwagon. I have never been a bandwagon, and I will never be a bandwagon. Have a good night, everybody, and go Birds.
go Birds.